They say there's no such thing as the unicorn bike. That may be so, but is it also the case when it comes to looks? I think not. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and in that context, I've found my unicorn. Well, I'm in the fabulous Glasshouse Mountains, a superb place for four-wheelers and dirt bikers alike, and one of my favourite all-time places to come to for a quick moto camp. But today we're not here for an overnight moto camp, we're here for me to do a review of my Triumph Scrambler 1200XE. If you're a regular to my channel, you'll know that I also ride a DR650. I'll put a link to the review of that bike somewhere in the sky, or you can click the link in the description or at the end of this video. With that said, let's get into the review. The Triumph Scrambler 1200 range, introduced in 2019, consisted then of the XC and the XE. I dare you to pronounce both and have the listener distinguish between the two. The XC was a slightly lower version of the XE and with fewer bells and whistles, such as lean sensitive ABS and Pro Rider mode. The XC was dropped in 2024 and replaced by the X model, slightly lower than the original, but also gone with the Öhlins adjustable shocks and Brembo brakes on both models, replaced by Mazzetti, though the price of both bikes was reduced. Other minor updates to the new lineup included a slightly smaller tank capacity at 15 litres as opposed to my 16, and also different fueling. I picked mine up at the end of 2023. This bike is way more capable off-road than my current skills permit, so my XC mainly sees maintained dirt roads and the blacktop, and for me, it's on the blacktop where this bike really spins my wheels. I can ride this bike for hours, stock seat, no issue. I did a trip last year covering some 2,000 kilometers, and it was a joy to ride. Don't get me wrong, I was glad to get off at the end of the day, but it took many hours after assuming the position for numb bum to set in. Fuel economy is pretty good. Averages less than 5 litres per 100, and on long distance rides I've gotten over 300 kilometers before the low fuel light came on my 16 litre tank. The basic cruise control enabled fatigue-free wrist comfort and allowed my hands to rest free of any tension on the grips, ideal for those long straight roads in the Aussie outback. Both the XC and the X feature tubeless rims and tyres. The stock Metzeler tyres are adequate on road, and heavy nature of the bike ensures it feels planted, even on the loose gravel. However, after 2 years it's time to replace these lounge room slippers with something more aggressive to complete that scrambler look. The ride is smooth and responsive, with plenty of torque across the range in any gear. It just pulls. And considering its weight, it handles really well in the twisties, even for a skinny featherweight like myself. It is a tall bike, however, and at only 5'10" with a seat height of 870mm, I was on my tippy toes, so I lowered the front forks about an inch within spec and replaced the rear keeper springs with softer springs that compress more when sat on the bike, enabling me to almost flat foot when wearing the proper boots. This gives me more confidence off-road and during slow manoeuvres. But now let's address that elephant in the room, the exhaust. There's been a lot written about the heat from the catalytic converter on riders' legs. This was an issue with earlier models where the catalytic converter was near the headers. They've since moved it toward the end near the mufflers. I have had absolutely no issues with heat on my leg, even during our long hot Aussie summers and slow moving in traffic. The stock exhaust sounds great, by the way, and I've no plans to replace it just yet. On the subject of those high pipes, the other thing I need to mention is that it does spread your legs out a little wider when you're sat on the bike, making those legs stretch a little further to reach the ground, which may be an issue if you're a shorter rider. The Öhlins shocks, both front and rear, are easily adjustable for compression and rebound. I've got mine set to pretty soft because I'm so light, so this helps smoothen out the ride, but it also does increase the front fork diving when I come to a stop. The bike features nice flat pegs, the type that you may buy aftermarket. I've removed the rubber inserts that come stock from mine. It's reasonably comfortable to ride standing up, though not as good as your more traditional ADV bike. There are plenty of rider modes, but I find myself just sticking to normal and off-road. Pro mode is fully customizable. I've only done a few what I would consider necessary modifications to my Scrambler. Front headlight guard, smaller, more discreet indicators, a windshield just to protect the instrument panel, radiator guard, extended front mudguard insert, blacked out thingies, lower crash bars, soft luggage rack and Triumph pannier, not shown here. I did buy the low seat, but the only thing it reduced was comfort. The stock seat is soft, so you sink in a little anyway, leaving you the same height as you would on the low seat. All in all, I love this bike. I love the way it looks and the way it rides. It'll never see anything rougher than dirt roads, but that's fine. I've got the DR for everything else. For me, the pleasure is in riding long distance in comfort and style, knowing if need be, when the going gets rough, this bike will eat whatever is thrown at it. Rider skills not included. So that's my review of my 2023 Triumph Scrambler 1200XE. Is it a keeper? Never say never. As I get older, I may want to go down to a 900 or something, to a lighter bike. As I say, I wouldn't want to drop this, but for now, I'm loving it. It's definitely hanging around for many years to come. So if you enjoyed this review, give me a thumbs up. Check out my review of the DR650, and if you're into motor camping, check out my back catalogue of motor camping videos. I'm sure there's something there you will enjoy. Thanks again. See you next time.